Hi, really welcome to Hack Mankind. My name is Peter Swain, and I'm here with Positive Jess, our relationship panelist. And Jess today is going to be talking to us about makeup or breakup. I can't wait. Jess, how are you? And over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Peter. Oh my goodness. Yes. Makeup or breakup. The reason I'm doing this is for some people are, and I've been in the situation too, where we're maybe in a relationship where things have not been doing so well, and there's doubts that start coming. There's this thing that I talk about on my online program, the downward spiral, how to stop it, how to see it, stop it, reverse it. And part of that downward spiral is having doubts about our relationship and wondering. And then we even talk about this thing called the story of incompatibility. Now, is it a story or is it actually true? For those who know me, I have been separated now from my husband, and it's really an interesting journey that I went through, because for me, there was just no way. For me, I believed it was all a story of incompatibility. I felt like there was, something that can always be changed or resolved. And there's this thing, I'm actually reading it right now, this book called Conscious Uncoupling, and how certain people, we're just not meant to be together. So how do you know whether you're no longer fitting or no longer meant to be together for the future, and it's actually better not to be together, or whether it is a story of incompatibility, or whether it is limiting beliefs, whether it is things that are in our head, in our soul, we're bringing on from, we call about our background, what our parents tell us, society tells us, and it's actually solvable. A lot of times it is. So a lot of times people go through, I have this 5-day, 1-week training where I take, and it's free, I take people through the breakup or makeup week, where you decide whether you're going to break up or make up once and for all, because we find ourselves in different positions. There's like 6 positions in relationship, right? And position 2, 3, and 4 are number 2 is you're in a relationship, you're in love, but there's little or no passion. So that's something that we need to look at, right? Because who wants to be in a relationship with no passion? Ultimately, you want to be in number 1, which is a magnificent relationship filled with love, passion, insanely passionate, engaged with your passion on a level of mind, spirit, and soul, right? That's ultimately what we want. But if we're in number 2, we're in love, no much passion, there's a great friendship. Then we start questioning. Then there's also position 3, we're in a relationship, there's not much love, there's not much passion, they're just coexistence. That's also putting a lot of doubt. And then you have position 4, which is we're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, planning our escape, right? We're not really escaping, but we're thinking about it. And gosh, so many people I've coached and so many people that have gone through this program have actually shared with me, I've been for years, if months, right? And that happened to me, right? I managed to do it weeks, or even months, but then I made a decision. I made a decision whether to break up or make up. Ultimately, so there's two things, 2 tracks, right? Break up or make up. Which one do you choose? Now, I'm not going to tell you which one to choose. You have to choose for yourself. And we're not going to do this during this call. But what I will tell you, what is it that you need to identify in order to choose? You can come and do the free 5-day program. It's really cool, easy, simple videos, not much time, and you can make that decision after 5 days. But here's the number 1 thing. Before you make any decision, or before you even start thinking about your relationship, on one of my previous videos here on Hack Mankind, I talk about who's in your relationship. And you're like, well, it's my husband or my partner and myself, or my wife and my partner and myself. And sometimes maybe the kids are involved. That's not what I mean. What I mean is who's showing up. So if you haven't watched that video, head on over after this one and check that out, because it's so important to decide who's showing up. So what persona are you bringing into the relationship? So that's first things first. And watch that video if you do not know what I'm talking about. It's super powerful. That's the number 1. And then you're going to decide which way you're going to go. So after these 5 days, we decide if you're going to okay, what, and one of the things I say, if you have not gone full in, since you've had these doubts, then don't break up, give it 90 days. People talk about this 90 days. I have an 8-week program that you can go through and give it that amount of time and go full in. It will be so much easier to make that decision. I took a year. I was married. I took a year full in. We went full in for a whole year where we really give it our all. We gave it our all. So this is what you want to do. You want to give yourself a time, right? It could be 90 days, it could be a year, whatever it is. In my head, it was 90 days, but I gave it a year. Then you can do, and you're going to identify the danger zone. So this is what we do in the program, but you can do that on your own. You can look at what is it that is causing this, not just the little challenges that are showing up every day, like the root of the problem. Like, what is it deep down that is actually causing these problems? Is it a values problem where you're totally disconnected in your values? Or is it an understanding problem that if you understand each other and there's like distinctions that are created in your brain, you go like, oh my goodness, and create incredible passion, connection. And that has happened in the couples we've seen. So look at the root cause of the frustration, disagreement, pain, hurt, suffering, right? Look at the root cause. And that's what we do that in the program, but you can do that already. Start thinking about it, meditate it, talk about it with your friends. Now, little sidebar, talk about it with friends who you know are successful in relationship, or who you know are happy, right? Who have been through, who are happy people that will give you good advice. Don't go chat to family, friends who are just going to agree with you no matter what, or worse yet, start saying negative things about your partner, because at the end of the day, nobody's wrong. We're just different. All right. Then number 2 is clarify. You want to clarify, what is it that you need? What is it that you want? What is the difference? What are your absolute needs that just need to happen, right? For example, for me, I need to be with somebody who wants children, right? That's like a non-negotiable. Now, if something happens in that our body, we can't have children, that's a difference. So get even clearer of what happens, of what's happening there, right? So I was talking to a colleague recently who, you know, at the beginning, it was very clear they wanted to be married, have children, and then all of a sudden one of the partners said, actually, I don't want to have children. That could be a deal breaker or not. So look at what is it that's causing the disagreement, and look at it, is it a need or is it just a want? So we go deep in that and clarify, what is it that you need in order of priority, right? We do that in the course, but look at an order of priority. What is it that matters most to you? And then understand. That is so key. Before even communicating anything, understanding each other. We talk about the amazing development of men and the amazing development of women, and I think that we have this also on Hack Mankind as videos. So understanding each other, because we are different. And yes, we are equal, we have equal rights. I do not say anything against that. However, one of the things that we are is extremely different and sometimes very opposites. And that's a good thing to be opposite, because we want to, you know, have that polarity, have that yin and yang, have that positive, like energy, a positive, negative, like, but the batteries, or no, not the batteries, the magnets, right? You want to be magnetizing each other. If there's plus and a plus together, it repels. If there's a minus and a minus together, it repels. So understand the feminine and the masculine energy, and understand where you're at and how you're showing up. And how can you bring that out of each other? One of the things, one of our colleagues too, who's now become a great coach in relationship, she was very much in her masculine energy, and understanding, going through some processes and understanding those differences. So head on over and watch those videos. You will get deeper in understanding maybe that you're not calling out the best part in your partner or even in yourself. And those micro distinctions, those hacks, can definitely make a difference in creating more polarity and magnetizing. So looking at that, then getting it right. We talk about the getting it right framework, right? We go through that during the course, and that's basically about connecting through communication and having effective communications. There are things like nonviolent communication, and this is why I love the coaching that we do every day, is we actually go and we talk about it. But here, you know, look at how you're communicating. Are you blaming? There's also a video on Hack Mankind that I talk about how to, like, the communication, right? How do you share How do you not make somebody feel that they need to react to what you're saying instead of just understanding? How do you make a statement that's not arguable, right? If you're talking about yourself and how you feel, you can't argue with that. But sometimes we become blaming and shaming and accusatory in our language, and I do it. I still do it. I did it the other day with Peter. And it's not conscious, but it's very important to be able to start applying these techniques to communicate in a conscious manner. And then you set yourself up for success. So you understand what are the needs, right? And we do another, again, look at all the videos, really, binge watch, because there's a video we talk about the primary needs we have. And you can look through all the needs and understand how you need them to be fulfilled and how you can fulfill them with your partner. So that's the makeup. And you go in it and you go full in, right? These are some of the aspects you can look at. So identify the danger zone, then clarify your needs, understand each other, right? The differences between each other. Also understand the love languages. We talked about that on a video too. And then get it right framework, which is how are you going to communicate? Understand the communication models. You can set things in place on how to communicate, and then you set yourself up for success. So those are my makeup side. Now, if you're like, nope, I've already been all in, I want to break up. And I would say the people that I go through my programs, I don't like breaking up, right? I was totally against it. For me, it was just not happening, especially after marriage, right? It just does not happen. We don't break up. That was in my head. I hate it. So my intention is that over 90% of couples will stay together and make up. Now, I do know from personal experience too, from my past relationship, where sometimes it is the best to break up. And a little secret, we're best friends. Literally, everybody, actually, I think about my past relationships, and I was just on the phone with an ex of mine who were helping me, and he's helping me in my business and stuff. And he's like, you should teach people to break up. I'm like, I don't know about that. And it's true, because I have such a beautiful relationship. And that's why this, it's actually a thing now called conscious uncoupling. It's so powerful when you do this in a loving, caring way, and you can create an even much greater relationship that's a friendship when you do it that way. Because it does, if you're in a relationship with someone, there was trust, there was love, there was caring. At some point, there was something that was right? So why lose that? And of course, I'm not saying for some that are in a relationship that is maybe destructive or that is really not healthy, that you need to stay in touch and be best friends. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you can do things in a very loving, caring way. So one of the things you want to do before you break up and while you're doing it is set your intention. Like, what is your intention? Your intention to consciously doing it with love. Clarify and make a contract with yourself. I even have done that, like where I write a contract, my intention for this call, my intention for my relationship, my intention, like, what do I want out of this? And clarify exactly what is it that you want. It is so powerful for yourself and in the relationship. For example, one of the things that is so important, and I take people through my coaching, is peace. Inner peace, creating total peace during the breakup. Communication, again, nobody is wrong. A lot of times, and I've experienced this myself, we think that we need to make somebody wrong. Oh, you're wrong. You did this wrong and you're a bad person. That's why I'm leaving. Or I've been bad and I'm such a terrible person. There's always needs to be somebody that's done something wrong. Why? You don't. You don't need somebody to be wrong. You can not want that for yourself. It could not match what you're looking for. It cannot match what they want. That's totally okay. You can disagree. That's okay too. But no one's wrong. And coming out in that communication, and I'm not talking about just between yourselves. I'm talking about in your head with yourself when you're talking about your partner or when you're talking about the other person to others. It's not about making them wrong or making yourself wrong. Notice how often, even when we're still in a relationship, do we make our partners wrong or make ourselves wrong? No one is wrong. Self-love and healing is an integral part when you're going through this process of really reconnecting with yourself and understanding your needs and prioritizing your needs. It is not selfish. One of the posts I just posted on my Instagram, actually, I think about it, is about love. And one of the greatest lessons I've had is you don't need to do I love you, but I don't love me, or I love me, so I can't love you. You can do I love you and I love me. I love me and I love you. You can communicate, you can do things, you can act in a way that is loving for yourself and the others. And it may seem difficult at first. Be audaciously, authentically you. And you can really connect and have there's this book I was reading, as I mentioned, it calls A Happy Even After. Happily even after. I love that quote. I love that saying. So yeah, create your happily even after, whether that person stays in the picture or not, regardless of it, all the energy has gone in doing through the healing process is so important. So I've said a lot and I could spend hours and days. Clearly we have a 5-day program for it where you make your decision right there if you're having trouble making it. But here are kind of the general gist of what you can do if you're either going one way or the other. And as I recommend is really having the first going all in. And if you've done that, then do the second part, which is the parting ways and the loving way. And always have the support, you know. I have this call that I'm setting up. It's not set up yet, but I'll have every single week if you want to join and you're going through this and you need support, whether it is making up or breaking up part, that we give content and tools and clarity every single week. And again, it's also free. So I'll send all that information forward. Probably the calls will be set up next week or in a couple of weeks. And then you'll have all the information on this. Yeah. Peter, do you have any questions or anything? I feel like I've spoken and I've given so much information. I hope it's not too overwhelming.
No, there's a lot there. I think it's really useful. I think, yeah, it's a big subject. And I think if people can, you know, part with a partner but still maintain the friendship and a relationship, whether that's an intimate relationship or not, I think is absolutely invaluable. So I think the only thing I would potentially add is, as a little tip for everybody, we are all too keen as humans to add things. Normally it's taking things away that actually give you results. So it's, you know, we take aspirin and ibuprofen instead of actually working out what the root cause is and solving the cause. And I think this, yeah, if there's always spending more time with your partner is always great, going on date nights is always great, and there's always that. But if there are these root problems, spending the time to get to the root of them is going to pay far greater dividends. And as you said, hopefully you don't, but every so often you might find out that the root cause is that you aren't supposed to be with that person. But yeah, I think absolutely. And I've had a sneak peek of the course, and I'm very grateful that I'm currently in a place where it doesn't apply to me. But I can certainly see the value. So I would, we're going to post links to that when we launch it, Jess. Is that right?
Yes. I'll give all the information.
Phenomenal. Jess, thank you so much. Any final thoughts?
Just listen to your heart. And again, who's showing up? Who's showing up in your relationship? Who's making the decisions? Is it your higher self? Is it, you know, we were talking about that in the previous video, is who is showing up, making the decision? Is it your grumpy self? Like I was talking about mine is like, poor little me. Is it poor little me making the decisions? Or is it positive Jessica making the decisions, right? So it makes a big difference of who's showing up. So take care of yourself, self-love, before you have to make any decisions, no rush. Just first look after yourself and who's showing up, and then we can talk.
Yes. Thank you very much. Everybody, you've been listening to Peter Swain and Positive Jessica on www.hackmankind.com. Make sure you sign up on the newsletter if you haven't. Every week we'll deliver you fresh content. Jess, thanks for your time.
Amazing. Take care, guys. See you next week.
Okay, bye-bye.